right, welcome, revelers. This is Off the Rails, Right versus Left, the podcast that we do because we think the left is evil. I'm Rob B.
And I'm Brad Lee.
And I'm Brian G.
And we are Off the Rails, Right versus Left. Again, we're doing this show because we think everybody needs to know that the left is evil.
Evil.
Classic. Two.
All right, guys, welcome to Right versus Left. We're off the rails every time, so who knows where we'll go this time. But to start it off today, we're going to be talking about the true death tolls of leftism. Not just over time, but also the death tolls that we're seeing here in the U.S. So there's a few points that I want to... Oh, no. Why do I look green?
There you go. There you go.
I didn't do anything.
Okay, you're good now.
Yeah, to start with, I wanted to talk about some of the death tolls under the communist regimes throughout the world. But I know the estimates is somewhere around 60 million. So, and that's, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. So in the Soviet Union, China, Cambodia, the low end of the estimate there is 21 million, and it goes as high as 70 million people. And oh wow, I got some rain going here.
Yeah, I'm seeing online it says 94 million by communist governments.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, again, and a lot of that's estimates because they bury people,
Oh yeah,
just whatever they can to hide their killing. So
just look at Ukraine right now with all the mass graves.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of that's still an active war, so I don't want to put too much faith in any of those numbers. Obviously, a lot of people are dying in the middle of a war, and both sides have been accused of abuses. So I'm not on the ground to be able to discern what's true and what's not true. And although I'd actually say both sides in that conflict are leftist.
I would agree.
Well, I mean, they are. I mean, there's no debating that Vladimir Putin's a nationalist socialist. He's taking over all the main industry with the government, especially their number one industry, oil. He has control of pretty much all aspects of people's lives. He even restricts their access to the internet information, and he controls all the media. And he's gotten rid of dissenters, including killing a reporter on the bridge in front of the Kremlin, and magically all the KGB's cameras were shut off. Yeah, I don't think so.
That sounds familiar.
And he went and, it's like being in a cell and getting Clinton. Just so you guys know, all of us here, we're very happy in our lives. None of us are suicidal. Just in case somebody decides to Clinton us after we do this show. If we die, it was the Clintons. Anyway. So yeah, but then you look at Zelensky, and as soon as he came to power, even though he was democratically elected, the first thing he did was shut down all opposition news. He started jailing the opposition party people. So, I would make the argument that both sides are leftist. So the death toll that I'm seeing is anywhere from 140,000 on up, with millions displaced. And I'd say both sides in that conflict are leftist. So, and we're picking what we feel is the least dangerous leftist because it's the smaller country and it doesn't have nukes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you get down to start breaking it down. Oh, nice. You're pulling up some stats on the screen, Brad.
Yes, sir.
200 million.
So,
Obviously, it was from Kiora. I don't know what Kiora is, but
we can go back to the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia. They were responsible for what, 6 million deaths. We got the famines in China as the communists took over there, and I've seen estimates as high as 20 million dying from that. I've seen estimates as high as 100 million. Stalin's purges was something like 20 million. Lenin's purges was like another 10 million. Vietnam, I don't think I've ever seen good numbers out of Vietnam on how many people died there.
We've never had good access to Vietnam.
So,
Anyway.
And then Cuba, I know the estimates I've seen are over 1 million. And that's a combination of, the government disappearing criminals and, quote, disappearing criminals. And then people starving to death. Venezuela, I've only seen like 20 and 30,000 there. I have huge questions about the accuracy of those numbers. Yeah, that one on Reddit, that is so BS.
I know.
That one that says no socialism has not caused 100 million deaths,
Yeah.
I would argue that's bullshit.
Well, it's Reddit. So what? That's not a valid.
That's
That would be the same as looking up Wikipedia.
That's, hey, I'm a little communist and I want to make the communists look better, so I'm going to say this.
How many died?
Yeah, there we go. So the great leap forward, deaths of up to 45 million people.
Oh, the Mao? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I like that it mentions Adolf Hitler because 40 million, perhaps 80 million or more.
80 million or more.
Yeah. Well, and then we got to remember, so in the Ukraine famines, like, gee, I wonder why the Ukrainians would not like the Russians. You guys know the story of the Ukrainian famines?
No.
So under the Soviet Union, Ukraine was trying to flex a little bit of their own autonomy too much. And I think it was still Stalin, but he didn't like it. So they had all that grain in Ukraine because obviously even then they were one of the biggest grain producers in the world. But the communists would not allow them to get grain out. The people were starving. If they went near the grain silos, they'd shoot them or capture them and send them to the gulags.
Is that how you spell famine?
Yeah. Oh, famine. Famine.
Yeah.
Famine.
It's right there.
Yeah, there it is. It auto-completes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not checking Wikipedia.
I'm pleased to see, Brad, that your autocomplete doesn't pull up like Ukrainian porn and stuff, so we know you're not a total perv.
I have a filter for that.
I don't know if I'd say total.
Now if I started typing in donkey, show my.
Oh boy.
And it only took us what,
show.
5 minutes, and Brad brings up the donkey show.
Show.
Brad, have you seen Clerks 2?
Oh, of course. That's why
Okay.
that's why I laugh so much about it.
Well, since you keep bringing up Donkey Show, I'm going to order Kinky Kelly and the Sexy
Kinky
Stud.
Kelly and the Sexy Stud, baby.
So,
Kelly could be a guy
Brian-
too. Hey.
Brian hadn't seen Clerks 2, so I explained to him what Kinky Kelly and the Sexy Stud was. But Donkey's a dude. Kelly's a guy's name too.
Yeah.
Well, then who's the sexy stud? I'm the sexy stud.
I saw that one a while ago.
Who's gonna blow the donkey?
I think it's the only Clerks I've ever seen, but
So now, do you have a death toll here?
I have China 65 million, USSR 20 million, Cambodia 2 million, North Korea 2 million, Africa 1.7. What?
Ukraine, it's got one estimate was 3.9 million people. About 13% of the population, and that was in 1933, 32 to 33, by Stalin.
Yeah, and even the numbers get played with the death toll under Hitler, because under Hitler, like, they focus on the Jews that were killed because they were buying away the largest population that they were exterminating, but they damn near wiped out all of Europe of the Romani, the gypsies.
Mhm.
They were actively pursuing homosexuals, and that's a dangerous one for them to assume, because they can just say, you're a homosexual, dead.
They weren't fond of the black people either.
Yeah, well, anybody who wasn't white.
Right. Blonde hair,
So-
blue eyes.
Or their version of white.
Something that I always thought was hilarious, like looking back at like reading Mein Kampf and like looking at the shit that Hitler was into. I'm 6 feet tall, blonde hair, blue eyes, perfect Aryan, and yet part black, part Indian.
Mhm.
So I'm not as much Native American as Liz Warren, but you know,
Well, this is all past.
we
shit.
can't all be.
We realize there's still deaths of leftism happening right now. 2020,
Oh, yeah.
clear
Yep.
cut case of it.
Well, I would make the argument that so if you pull up the murder rates for the United States,
For what year?
the last 70 years, because the last 70 years, Democrats have been in charge of every major city.
Yeah.
Good night.
That's funny. The Larry Krasner, the DA for, Philadelphia.
Dude, you're
He
looking
says
you're looking a little dyslexic there, Brad.
Yeah, no, that's what I was complaining about. I was like, oh my
Hey,
God.
Rob.
Yeah.
Larry Krasner, the DA for Philadelphia, claims that 40%, that the murder rate is 40% higher in red states.
Well, you saw what they did with the crime rate statistics, didn't you?
Yeah, they just didn't bother reporting LA and New York.
The highest.
But what he also fails to mention is that if you took the blue cities out of those red states, that their murder rate would drop by more than 40-50%.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I say, like, 90% of murders in the US have been and always will be in the top 20 largest cities.
Yeah.
17 of the top 20 largest cities have been run by Democrats for 50 years. And that's just from the murder rates because of their anti-gun, anti-victim policies.
Well, look at this right here.
Just look at the 2020 up 28.64 increase from 2029.
Yeah, I've been seeing like a 30% increase on top of that 28% increase for 2021.
So
Yeah, that's
when
just
Trump-
disgusting,
when Trump
man.
was in
Well,
office-
that's 2019. So
when Trump
Yeah,
was in office,
from
it was
2019.
29.
So,
Yeah.
and then can we make any argument that all the deaths from the fentanyl epidemic is the fault of the left?
Oh yeah, well,
It's their open border policy.
We have as much freaking fentanyl entering, so yeah, it's all the fault of the left.
Yeah, leaving the border wide open, blocking every attempt the right has made to close the border.
Every single attempt.
Every single try. And then them saying, oh, the borders are sealed. What are you talking about? You know.
Yeah, basically straight up lying.
Oh, but the person in charge of the border can go to the border in Korea, or she can go down to Austin and not go to the border and just skip it.
No, she went to the border of Korea and said that we had a healthy alliance with North Korea.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Dude, I hate how they like manipulate these statistics. Like, I want to know the exact number.
Yeah.
But this is interesting. So the top murder rates in the world are El Salvador with 61 per 100K, right? Leftist government. Honduras, leftist government. Venezuela, leftist government. United States, leftist government. Jamaica, leftist government. Lesotho, leftist government. Belize, leftist government. I don't know about the government in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. or St. Kitts. South Africa, well, I don't know. What do you call the government down there in South Africa? I know that they're killing white people for the crime of being white.
Really? In South Africa?
Yeah.
That sounds racist.
Yeah, but I mean, well, you kind of got to make the argument that the white people there have that one coming.
Well, I mean, I guess.
Yeah, after 50 years of apartheid, you kind of get what you get. But here's what I think is interesting. They go to a true democratic, like almost socialist minded government where everything's supposed to be equal for everybody. And South Africa went from a first world country to a third world country. Even if they don't claim to actually be socialist or anything like that, they're like a collectivist socialist like theory government. And what's really happening now is basically the same thing they did under socialist purges. They're killing all the people that have money. So, but I just found that interesting that in the top 10, at least what, 8 of the top 10 or 7 of the top 10, I know for a fact have leftist governments, because obviously we have a leftist government. Even our federal bureaucracies are leftist at this point.
Right.
So, and then I would make the argument that the leftist policies, even through Europe, where they aren't fully leftist, are still having a huge impact through abortion. Like 60 million abortions in the US, another 30 million abortions in the European Union. That's almost 100 million killed by leftism to begin with, because nobody on the right thinks you should be murdering babies.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what's funny is the left is really showing its hypocrisy when they're saying that baby can decide its gender while it's as early as still being in the womb. So,
yeah, but it's not alive, and we can stab it in the brain and in the heart.
Exactly.
But it can decide its gender.
But how is that not life if they can decide while they're there? That doesn't make any sense. Their whole transgender, their whole trans agenda is blowing up in their face against the abortion agenda. It's like those two things are conflicting with themselves.
Yeah, and I'd make the argument that all the post-op transsexuals that commit suicide, that's on the left. All the pre-op transsexuals that commit suicide, that's on the left too. And the reason I say that's on the left too is because they absolutely refuse to acknowledge what we acknowledged 40 years ago. The gender dysphoria is a mental disorder, and it needs to be treated the same way you treat other body dysmorphia like bulimia and anorexia. It's a challenge. It is. Yeah, and I'm not talking about the 0.01% of the population that's actually intersex, because intersex is a different thing altogether. Exactly. That is somebody who presents a different gender than their chromosomes say they are. Okay, so that's intersex. That's somebody that's got a biological abnormality. But anybody with gender dysphoria, they have a body dysmorphia. They don't see their body the way it is. They don't feel about their body the way it is. Just like somebody who's bulimic and weighs 80 pounds feels like they're fat. Right. We don't sit there and go, oh my God, look at you. You're so fat. Why don't you go on a diet, you fat ass, to somebody that's 80 pounds?
Right.
You know, when you got somebody that thinks they're talking to aliens, you don't sit there and like get out a notepad and start taking down their notes because you actually think they're talking to aliens. All right, ask them how their space drives work, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like we do not like, I can't even think of the word for it. But we don't play along with these.
We don't affirm delusions.
Yeah, hey, we don't affirm. There you go. Thank you. That's the terminology I was looking for.
Hey, Rob, tell me. Here's the top cities by murder rate. Tell me if they're run by Democrat or Republican.
Okay, hit it.
New Orleans.
Democrat.
145 murders rate of 36.8, and these are for 100,000.
That's
Baltimore.
Democrat.
174 murders, 29.1%. Birmingham.
Democrat.
59 murders, 28%. St. Louis.
This is murders per 100,000, right?
Yes, per 100,000.
Okay.
St. Louis.
Democrat.
83 murders, 27.8%. Milwaukee.
Democrat.
112, 19%. Cleveland,
Democrat.
64 murders, 16.9%. Rochester.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not
Rochester.
sure on that one. It doesn't say, it just says Rochester.
Rochester.
Philadelphia.
Oh, that's Democrat for sure.
Do you think Rochester is Rochester, New York?
Might be. It doesn't say. It just says Rochester. Philadelphia. Definitely Democrat, like Brad said. 240 murders, 15.1%. Atlanta.
Hold on. It's Rochester, New York, and the mayor of Rochester. This is upstate New York. Remember, you heard a couple commentaries commenting that it's in upstate New York also is the explosion of crime. Yeah, it's Rochester, New York, and the mayor elected is Lovely Warren, who's a Democrat who was elected to a third term.
34 murders, 16.6% in Rochester. Then you go down to Atlanta, which is in Georgia. Is that Democrat or liberal? Do you know?
Well, actually, so here's the thing about Rochester, though. Actually, so they had a Republican mayor.
Yeah.
And they were removed in 2021.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense. Hold on. No, she's Democratic Party. Yeah, so Lovely Warren was the mayor, but she got removed.
Okay.
Okay.
So Atlanta,
Democrat.
74 murders, 14.9%. Kansas City,
Democrat.
73 murders, 14.6%. Washington,
Democrat.
definitely Democrat. 104 murders,
That's Bowser, right?
I think so, yeah, 14.6%. Richmond,
Democrat.
31 murders, 13.3%. Oakland,
Democrat.
54% or 54 murders, 12.3%.
So
Cincinnati.
The point is
Two more. Cincinnati is 36, 11.8%, and Chicago.
Oh, we know that's Democrat.
Yeah, Beetlejuice's daughter. Yeah, Democrat.
304 murders, 11.3%, and this is through late June of this year.
Yeah, so every single one of the.
And Rob, I'm just going to say this is according to WashingtonExaminer.com.
Oh wow, that's a right-leaning paper.
Oh yeah. So when he says, and I found the report that says that 8 of the 10 top states by murder 100,000 is red states. Well, they're not counting that most of the murders are happening in the cities run by the Democrats for how long?
Dude, death caused by hippopotamus?
Oh, geez. Yes, it's off the rails again, Rob. Please.
Dude, I'm just watching the autocorrects as Brad puts it in here, and that was hilarious. Death by hippopotamus. I'm so down to see. Hey, Brad, on the screen that you have it's not showing us the timer. You got the timer on your side?
It won't just show me a timer until we reach the 10-minute mark.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So, oh yeah, those are another one. Forced vaccinations. How many people ended up dying because of heart enlargement? Oh, never mind. Let's not talk about that because we are trying to get monetized on YouTube too.
Because I would love to.
Okay, so there was allegedly this thing that the Democrats wanted everybody to stop this other magical thing that did not come from a place full of scientists and a place in China.
Well, what's funny is I put deaths caused by Democrat policy 2022, and this is the first thing that pops up.
Well, hey Rob, how about how many people died because of the lockdowns and they didn't go to their doctor's office to get checked for cancer, for heart issues, for
increased suicide rates during the lockdowns, increased drug overdoses. How many of these homeless people are dying in the streets because of Democrat policies?
Oh, amen.
Because the left is evil.
That's right.
Yeah, see, I don't have a problem with that tagline. I know we kind of changed the name of the show because we kind of go off the rails a lot, but I think the fact is the left is evil.
Yeah, but
And
I just,
like
yeah,
I
I
don't
just
mind
think
having
having
a,
that, I think having that on the title though turns people away before they have a chance to actually look at the show.
yeah.
Certain people, where they
I
might
think that
go look at the show and then agree with us.
Well, the thing is the most of what shows up is off the rails, right, versus left.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow, regulatory changes under Biden. Hey,
Tracking.
didn't his DACA thing get thrown out?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I just read that there was a DACA thing. Oh, and how much of the road rage is going on right now because people that would be chain smoking in their cars to deal with the stress being in traffic, they have to pay $20 a pack, so they're out of cigarettes because then they end up busting out in road rage.
Are you talking from experience, Rob?
No, I always have cigarettes because I live in a conservative state where they don't try and control your behavior through taxes.
How many times have you tried to quit now?
It's probably in the hundreds.
And then a lot of us end up begging you to start smoking again because you're too much of a prick.
Yeah, yeah. So when I was with my kid's mom, she like really pushed me to quit smoking. I got to day 4 and she like left all of a sudden and came back and threw a pack of cigarettes in my face.
Yeah, you just had to bring Heidi into this conversation, didn't you?
Hey, I left the name of the demon spawn out. You're the one that brought it in. So we do not say the name of the evil beast. She is Voldemort's cousin in that respect. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's clear.
What other policies have caused people to die?
Check out the Flint water thing.
Oh, in Flint, Michigan, which they're
Yeah.
still dealing with.
I love that they tried to blame that.
Millions to Ukraine, but we can't fix the Flint water situation.
Well, it probably costs a lot more to fix the water system in Flint than it would fight 5 wars against. So, do you guys know what the problem is in Flint, Michigan, with the water? Do you guys know what happened? So here's what happened. They had a good water source. They were getting their water from Detroit, right?
Uh-huh.
They decided they didn't want to get their water from Detroit anymore. So they switched water sources to the lake water that they were going to treat and then pump out to people. So the problem is all the pipes in the US are old and lead. Generally not a problem because like the buildup and calcification actually creates a barrier between the water and the lead pipes. So there's not really any leaching. But these freaking geniuses started pumping untreated water into the water system. With a higher pH balance, it was massively acidic. It ate away that barrier and started leaching the lead into the water. Now, this was a plan approved by the Democrat City Council in Flint, Michigan, and the Democrat mayor. They tried to blame it on the Republican governor and the previous Republican president. Well, I do recall Obama being in office for 8 years and doing nothing about it.
Yeah, it's kind of what happened to the Romans with their lead pipe.
So, yeah, I mean.
Well, weren't they using lead utensils too?
They're using lead everything. And it's funny because who got the most of the lead is the emperor because his pipes were down lower. The higher up on the ladder you were, the lower your pipes were in the tank. So you'd be the last one to lose water as the water level went up and down. So the lead settles, goes to the emperor, then the anybody else up to the lowest person on the top who got the least amount of lead.
So anyway, does it say number of people died there, or it just has a graph?
Deaths per 1 million people.
Why is it saying pneumonia death rates?
That's a good question. Legional pneumophila. I don't know what the fuck that is, but
Was beginning January 2011 through the end of 2017.
Ooh, hold on, guys. I forgot to turn on the AC and it's getting hot quick. Hold on.
Gee, it's hot in the Philippines? Who would have ever guessed? Yeah, the tropical area.
All right. So, yeah, it's hot as shit. Well, okay. So the temperature is not actually that high. It's generally in the low 90s, but the humidity, it's like you're swimming through the soup of the air.
Yeah, coming from Houston and you have issues with the humidity. That's pretty sad.
Dude, the humidity is bad here. In the US, the only place that I've ever felt humidity like this is Florida and New Orleans, like in the middle of the summer.
Yeah, that's what you were saying, New Orleans.
So the next most humid place that I have been to was again in the summer, like when I took the kids to Tokyo. Dude, that was brutally humid there. Like, but it was really cool because they allowed like the kids to play in the fountains and stuff. So
Yeah.
like we'd be like randomly walking along and like I'd look, where'd the kids go? Look back, they're about 20 feet back playing with the little Japanese kids in the fountain.
That
So,
sounds
but
like
yeah,
that sounds like your kids.
yeah, and it wasn't even that hot. It was just the humidity was brutal. So that's how people are dying from Fent. It's the giving them Legionnaire's disease.
Yeah. That's what it's saying.
So
Not
I don't know.
PBS. Yeah, PBS.
And then and who knows how many of them, like because of the lead poisoning in their brains, they ended up fuck nuts crazy and retard strong and ended up just beating people to death with their hands.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, that was another fucking movie quote for Clerks 2. Oh no, that was
Yeah.
Clerks 2.
Yeah. I was waiting for you to go there again.
Oh my god. Dude, I wanted to see Clerks 3 before I left the US. I didn't get a chance and it's not playing here. Black Adam doesn't start playing to the 19th. I was bored as shit. I wanted to go to a movie so bad, but like everything else is playing in Tagalog. That doesn't help me. So, although they have the, so I was informed of two people in one of the shows that they're like the best actor and actress in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Like, I would qualify for the best actor in the Philippines because all he does is sit there like. That's it. That's like all he does. Like, he's like Nicolas Cage, one face. Let's ride. Anyway, you know, don't get me wrong, I like the John Wick movies. Y'all know my religion is based on
butt, man.
my religion is based on the Matrix. Kidding, evangelical, but
so yeah, like the Matrix.
But Keanu Reeves is kind of the same way. Like since Bill and Ted, he's been like, whoa.
This shit. Keanu Reeves is an awesome person, man.
Dude, he's an amazing human being, but I'm sorry, his acting style is.
Unless he's beating people up.
Oh, I don't know. I tend to like.
Yeah, but even then, his face is like blank expression. He looks
Yeah.
like a sociopath.
I don't know.
I like a lot of the stuff he does.
When Trinity got shot.
No.
No,
But even as now, he did doom the human race to go save Trinity, which was an emotional response, but his face was still as blank as Bill S. Preston Esquire. Or wait, was he Ted Theodore Logan? I forget.
I think he was Ted. I'm not sure.
I don't know. You guys see the new one?
What,
No,
Bill and Ted?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh my god, that shit was stupid.
But funny as hell.
No, it wasn't. It was stupid.
Oh.
So anyway, yeah, off the rails again. So back to these leftist murderers, you know. Um, and I think we're like entering an information control period in the U.S. where it's going to be getting harder and harder. I mean, that's the biggest thing about leftist governments. One of the first things they do is take control of the media, take control of information, and so it's like really hard to suss out the actual death tolls.
Well, what's going to be interesting is with Elon Musk taking over Twitter, is if it does go through.
It should. I mean, they accepted it and he said he was going to do it. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, he came
Well,
back and
yeah,
said he
but
was gonna...
the banks are like pouring through the contracts trying to get out of financing it now because now, I mean, they don't want free speech.
Yeah,
Right.
I know.
So
and
here's so this is what I don't understand. I understand that corporations like having control. Like, I understand that. How are the corporations in bed with the left? Like, do they have no awareness of history that sooner or later your corporate entities are not going to exist at all? The government is going to
Take them over
and take control.
Yeah.
Well, they're trying to push it into this globalist government.
Yeah, a corporatist, a corporate control.
They're trying to come in together, and they're all going to end up owning all the other corporations. Which apparently,
I saw a movie where like the corporations, like, was that Johnny Mnemonic, where the corporations were in control of everything? Speaking of like Keanu Reeves movies.
I knew you were going to say.
So, but wasn't that the deal? Like, and then he had a Neuralink in that movie.
I don't know.
In which movie was that?
Johnny Mnemonic.
Oh yeah. He had the connection in the back of his neck for downloading information, so he could be a carrier.
Notice they all had Neuralinks.
Demolition Man was too.
What's that?
Isn't that how Demolition Man was too?
No, Demolition.
No.
No, Demolition Man was the
freezing
opposite.
someone as punishment.
No. The corporations ruled everything when they woke up.
In Los Angeles.
Taco was that the one where Taco Bell was fine dining?
Yeah.
They were the only remaining restaurant from the restaurant wars.
Oh yeah, that's
John
true.
Spartan, you are fine.
Yeah, he doesn't know what the shells are for.
But that was all in Los Angeles, or the new Angel City or whatever it was, but Los Angeles, it wasn't the rest of the world.
I don't think we really saw the rest of the world, did we?
No, but they specifically said that was Los Angeles.
Los Angelinos.
Yeah, well,
What did they end up calling them? San Angeles or something? Or San, I don't know. They changed the name.
we're coming up on 20 seconds left.
All right. That's crazy.
So what other leftist crap can we talk about that has caused major deaths? I mean, they want to release everybody from prison.
Well, that would be tied into what we were already talking about. All right, guys. Sorry about that. We're dealing with the storm here. Brad's got some stuff there, so we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. But I am glad that we got a little break here because I want to make sure to point out, hey, now we're doing the video. We're on YouTube. I'm trying to get us up on Rumble. It's like really slow to process, but we do have some videos up on Rumble. We're on Spotify, iTunes, basically wherever you get your podcast, you can find us there. So make sure that you like us, subscribe us, give us 5 stars, share us with your friends, help us grow our audience. We are on a pretty fun growth curve now, but we want to maintain it, and we want to try and get monetized. So hopefully we can all have cool backgrounds like Brad here shortly.
What's the
Don't
name?
you like mine?
What's that?
Don't you like my winter haven here? And this is my actual cabin in Alaska. Thank you.
Bro, I moved out of Alaska and never went back.
I miss the snow, brother. I miss it. I haven't been in the snow since about 2016. I miss it.
All you got to do is
Last
travel
time-
20 miles to the east.
Oh,
La-
not like
last-
Alaska, man.
But
Dude,
anyway,
go
Rob,
up to
Rob,
Mount Rainier.
what's the show called over on Rumble?
Right now it's just under Robbie Brown. It's under me, but if you search for it, you should still be able to search Off the Rails Right versus Left because it is in the descriptions.
I just searched it this morning and I couldn't find it. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, I'm just learning Rumble now, and I don't get how you find anything there.
Oh man, I've been on Rumble for a while.
So I can't even figure out how to change it to the name of the show. So
I'm gonna check. I'm gonna search for it right now.
There's more of the full picture, if that's any better for you, Rob.
Oh, that's a way better picture.
here, Brad, I'll send you the link, and you can pull it up on screen.
Yeah. Rob B. Brown.
Oh, did you find it?
It says you haven't uploaded any videos though.
Dude, that is so weird because like I see the videos and we have views.
The left is evil. My name is Brad Lee, joined by Rob B. Hey, Rob,
We can hear that.
Yeah, that's on Rumble.
hot down here. It's cool up here. We got
So
Hey, Rob, as far as what you said, I just want to say,
how do you share videos from Rumble? Oh, there it is. Okay.
I just want to say, guys, if you're listening, make a comment, leave a comment on the shows because
my name is Brad Lee.
we're just getting started,
Hey, Rob.
and we'd love to know where you guys think we can improve, where we can become better.
Or where you guys disagree with us.
Yeah, I mean, we're just
Oh,
starting.
yeah.
We're having a lot of fun, and we really want to know where we can go.
We're not against criticism. If we're gonna give it, we
Amen.
might as well be able to take it.
Amen, Brad. Amen,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah, I don't get Rumble at all. Like the videos are there and it's saying that I don't have the videos. We're getting viewers, so obviously somebody can see it. I just don't know how.
Everybody but Brad.
Yeah.
I've never been on Rumble, so I haven't tried yet. And we have silence.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I can't. I'll look at it more, but I mean, obviously we have videos on there, but I'm still working on figuring that one out.
Hey, Rob, we can even go to where the death toll is going to be leading in the future. I mean, I think we can all see the clues right now with the left policy trying to push on this environmentalism, on the green energy, and pushing back on, we got to kill the cattle herds because they're putting too much methane into the air, or we got to use different fertilizers. We got to get rid of the fertilizers, which increased our crop rate and allowed us to feed the population that we have now. Oh, but we got to cut the fertilizers.
Well, and then and then vegetable prices go through the roof, yet they want you to go vegan, so nobody's going to be able to afford food. Nobody's going to have enough protein because they're not getting animal protein. Like, okay, well, so they make the argument that they're like even trying to say now that like 95% of colorectal cancer is caused by eating meat and stuff. I'm like, okay, we have been eating meat for thousands of years. Colorectal cancer rates are climbing. We're not eating more meat, like probably more processed meat. Thanks, McDonald's.
Well,
I wonder if it's the chemicals they're putting into the meat to preserve them longer.
That's exactly it, and that's the problem. That's the part of the processing that's jacked up. I hate it when people say, "Well, you're eating processed meat, dude." Every time you eat something, it's processed. You don't just take the cow and throw it on the fire and start cooking it. It goes through a process.
Technically speaking,
every time you prepare food, it goes through a process.
Wrong. Yeah,
no, I mean, even cooking is a processing because our bodies were designed to eat rotten meat, not fresh meat, not cooked meat.
Yeah.
Like, you notice we don't have big ass canines for eating raw meat.
Right.
Yeah.
I just
Well-
found it on Rumble.
Well,
I was putting in Rob B as in Bravo Brown, but it was E as in Edward.
well,
Rob
going
Brown,
videos
yeah.
and I followed it.
going back into your into getting off of meats. I mean, look at the founder of Microsoft, how he's pushing for us to stop eating meat and go to this product that his company is now making. That's all artificial meat.
Oh, of course. And
And then if you don't eat that, they want you to eat crickets.
Yeah, just look over in Vietnam and these other third world countries that have to eat bugs. Look at their health. I mean, come on. But yeah, he's also making processed mother's milk too. Like,
Well, I don't know how this. Yeah, his whole idea of eating meat. Well, it's almost the same thing. But it's all artificial.
yeah, there's a reason KFC stopped being as big as they were.
You want me to eat a meat that's not even a meat? It's like, give me a break.
Yeah, so they went from GMOs are bad to now we're gonna genetically modify everything.
yeah, and we're gonna force you to eat GMOs.
Right.
Well, you know why? Because the left is evil.
Well, yeah, and they're the ones making them, so they want to be
It's-
subsidized by the government.
Dude, it's all about control. They want you to have an electric car so they can shut it off whenever they want. They can tell you whether or not you can charge it. So if they want to shut down the population, they just shut off the electricity.
But they refuse to tell you the damage that building these electrical cars do, and then
Oh, I'm not even talking
and the
about
wind
that.
turbines, and
I'm not
all
even
the
talking about that.
beagles
I'm
and
talking
everything.
about the fact. Look at
No,
what happened in
I think
California.
I think he gets that, but he's just saying to add on
Yeah.
top of what you're saying.
No. I'm not saying Rob said anything wrong. I'm just saying the left isn't
Yeah.
telling us all the digits actually doing with the mining, the strip mining, and then with the little amount of the recycling you can do to the batteries and the solar panels and the wind turbines. I mean, the turbines on the arms on the wind turbines, they don't even recycle. They just bury them.
Hey,
Yeah.
Brad,
Where do they get them from?
pull up the video of how they see if you can pull up the video of how they get the metals out of like the old cell phones and stuff.
But while he's doing that, I also the damage to the animals, like the birds. How many eagles do these wind turbine farms kill? They're putting them off the East Coast, up and down the East Coast, but they don't care about whale migration anymore because they're drilling these massive holes into the ocean floor. The vibrations that are being sent down through these wind turbines into the water. What damage is that doing to whales that they fought for how long now? I mean, all of a sudden, the damage it's doing to the wildlife doesn't matter.
Well, where are all these blades coming from, anyways? We're not building them here.
Well, a lot
Yeah,
of them
of course.
a lot of them are coming from China. I know that's where all the solar panels are coming from,
Yeah.
Chinese factories, and they're strip mining. They're strip mining.
Dude, cell phone recycling in Africa.
Of course, we are
So
just opening our first.
And the reason I'm saying look for cell phone recycling in Africa is because that's where most of the junk. Click the. Yeah.
You said to look for a video, yeah?
Yeah. So if you can find the video here,
Here, I'll look
what it's going to show you is basically they like smash up the phones, and to get the metals out of them, they freaking burn the phones.
Yeah.
Like
How many
I don't know
chemicals
if
is that
that-
sending into the air?
Oh yeah. Yeah, there you go. That might show it. So anyways, the average life expectancy of the people that are sitting there processing our electronic garbage in Africa is like 30.
Well, that was supposed to be videos.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here, I'll just go to YouTube.
So like it's like literally they're walking through these like fields of smoldering phones, like smashing them up and trying to pick out the metal because they can get like $1 a day, which is like a gold mine to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, look, Bradley Branch, Trust Media. Why? I like in your video history there, brother.
Oh yeah, look at me.
That looks like off the rails, right versus left.
That does.
There you
Oh,
go.
there it
Right
is,
there. The
down
third video.
below.
Look at the third video. Computer recycling, West Africa style. Love this.
Let's get through the commercial.
Forget this commercial. We hate it.
So now I know this is computers and cell phones, but I point out. So and right now only like 20% of these huge batteries are actually recoverable.
This is BBC, the British Broadcasting Channel.
Consumer electronics smashed, sorted, and the valuable metals extracted. This is Agbogloshi Accra, where technology goes to die.
You see this shit?
Workers
Yeah.
feeding fire,
Yeah, I bet that smoke's really good for them.
Years now.
a heat fierce enough to burn the insulation of electrical cables.
So how do we think the computers from all these electric cars and all these batteries and all this shit from the green energies, this is how they're all going to be processed.
Take-home pay between 5 and 7 euros.
Man, he should have a mask on, dude. That's horrible.
All right.
They range between 30 and 35 years old. They're not from Accra. They come from the north of the country. And they came here on a sort of gold rush, promised riches from waste.
Oh, never mind. What was I thinking? The Democrats don't care about this because it's brown people.
Oh, whoa. Wait a minute now.
All these
A
Oh, but it's the
racist would
conservatives that
say.
are all racist.
I'm sorry, I had to throw in that gut belt. A racist would say.
or maybe the top fish. So we just be paying nobody unless you get some medicine.
Like, look at this shit.
This
the
is
man is just
ridiculous.
17 years old, taking
Okay, now this is just electronics, but think about how much electronics are in these electric cars, are in these solar charging systems, are in these turbine controller systems.
also public. Can you please that is deposit this heavy metals?
And that the alloys and stuff that they use to make the wind turbines, that stuff isn't. Dude, pull up a video of one of these wind turbines leaking.
just by your side.
Oh, yeah, that's nasty stuff, man.
Trying to leave Agbogloshi and head with Vincent to Ghana's atomic.
So, but you see what I'm saying about, like, they're creating more electronics now at the same time. So, and here's my thing. So they're like cutting back on fossil fuels. This is the only efficient method of generating electricity that we have other than nuclear, which they're also against. Although even Greta, she's autistic, and even she figured out we kind of need nuclear power, and she's lobbying to keep the German nuke plants open. There you go. Wind turbine leaking oil near a Wisconsin farm.
Yeah.
So and like I've seen video. Yeah, there we go. Too much wind. Check that shit out. Yes. That's your green energy, you leftist retards.
Live and cable free with YouTube.
Don't
TV.
listen to YouTube.
Over the past 6 months, we
Oh,
have been
Epic
investigating
Times.
as well as exposing the truth behind all of these food processing plants that have been catching on
Oh,
fire.
the Epic Times. Thanks, Epic Times.
Functioning turbine is both tumultuous and terrifying.
Oh,
Here are the
man.
top 10 wind turbine fails. Number 10, the fire failure of Klickitat County, July.
Woo!
When a
Boy,
wind
that sure is
consequences can be dire. And the turbine fail that happened in Klickitat County, Washington in July
Oh,
2019.
that's your
is a
state there, big
testament to
guy.
that. The wind
Washington will never be my state, brother.
At first, the fire was 300 feet in the air, but these melted pieces fell to the ground where they ignited the surrounding grass.
Oh,
The
man.
burning
Look at
grass
that.
then started a massive wildfire. This wildfire, known as the Juniper Fire, made headlines as high winds and dry conditions forced the fire to spread. It wasn't long before the juniper fire had burned up 300 acres. Firefighters were finally able to get the fire under control, but the failure of this wind turbine caused extensive damage to the surrounding area. Number 9, the Tehachapi turbine failure.
Oh my
On
God.
May 2nd, 2009, a wind turbine began to spin out of control.
What?
The turbine was in the Tehachapi area near Highway 58 at the Sand Canyon Road intersection. The turbine was only 1,400 feet from the highway, so when it started spinning, the highway was closed down. The blades of the turbine moved so quickly that onlookers couldn't even see them. The turbine was owned by AES Company, and it's not known what caused the failure. Employees were helpless as the blades spun. They were told that the only way to stop it was to wait for the wind to die down. If the turbine had broken apart, it could have become very dangerous,
You
which is
think?
why the highway remained closed until the turbine was under control. Number 8, the Fenner Wind Farm failure. There are 20 wind turbines located on the Fenner Wind Farm in Madison County, New York. But on December 27, 2009, one of the wind turbines suffered a catastrophic failure. The turbine, which weighed 187 tons, fell into the middle of a field. Experts were brought in to investigate. The wind farm was shut down while the investigation.
So I think this is pretty clear. Brad, can you pull up some video of some of the solar panel failures? Dude, I love that we can do video now. Oh my gosh.
But I mean, all those arms on the wind turbines, they just get buried at end of life right now.
Yeah.
They end up in a field and get buried.
And the
They're
same,
made out of
same
fiberglass.
thing, they're doing the same thing with the solar panels, and it's poisoning the water in
Yeah.
California.
Look at the 4th video.
The 4th video? What, the man's home almost burns down?
Buy solar panels. If you live in one of these 11 states of America, it's the worst decision you can make for your home.
In an attempt to save money on electricity, that's ended up costing a Melissa man. He says the solar panels on his roof caught fire. Tonight, Aaron Jones went to that house and asked experts, how in the world can this happen?
The homeowner we spoke to tonight says he decided to install solar panels because he wanted to save money on his electric bill. The thought of them possibly catching fire never crossing his mind.
These neighborhoods, we have a lot of people that come by that are salesmen. They want to sell us the panels.
Just over a year ago, Austin.
I just wanted to be a
neighbor
Democrat and
decided
get
to do business with
renewable
So I
energy.
waited a year to see what he thought about.
Isn't this your area, Brad? Aren't you in Dallas?
Yeah,
And he loved this though.
well, it's like
He
northeast.
says at first his
Yeah.
was great, but then about 4 months.
So while that's playing, keep searching. There should be one of the whole solar farm that burnt.
They contacted another guy who ran and cut the power off and jumped up on the roof with a hose and then actually sprayed it out. My child sleeps right underneath that, which is terrifying.
He says when firefighters arrived, they noticed.
There you go. Solar panel farm fires.
This one? 2 months ago?
Nah. Dude, there's one where like half this freaking thing like burned down. Oh, there you go. No, that's on a commercial facility, but still. Look at that. So now here's another thing. So they've also found like in these solar panels, they're so worried about global warming, but because the solar panel conversion rate's only like 20%, but it captures all of the sunlight instead of it hitting the ground and getting dispersed deeper into the ground where it can get cooled off. So that's one part. So it's actually creating these huge hot spots over where they put these giant solar panel farms. Mm-hmm. So they're increasing global warming. So second of all, they obviously have a tendency to catch on fire.
They are poisoning the water sources in California. I remember I posted something about that, Rob, and they put a warning on your post saying to look into it. And I was like, wait a minute, what? I know if they're putting a warning on it, on Rob's, shared something, they're putting a warning on yours, then it must be true. So I looked into it and I couldn't find anywhere that it was disagreeing with what you had posted. Everything that
About
I
what?
searched for on Google about the solar panels poisoning the water.
Oh yeah. They don't talk about it, but yeah, so what you have to say, or what you would have to look for is like petrochemical leaks into the water at solar plants. So these solar cells are made by chemicals. So like every time you process something with chemicals, sooner or later there's going to be a leak and it's going to poison the water. Then you get into the actual mining processes. Okay, here we do geological studies and stuff. In theory, you got to bribe the right Democrat if you want a permit, and that's the reality. But we supposedly do like ecological studies and make sure that these mines aren't within a certain proximity of the groundwater. But where most of these materials are coming from is Africa, with little to no control, because literally they can buy off the government.
Yeah.
So of course, don't worry. The Biden administration is tackling that. They created a commission to tackle. Oh, my brain. This is what happens when you do a show right after you wake up.
I have no idea what that's like.
Corruption. So they created an anti-corruption task force, and in almost 2 years, they've made 0 arrests. They've had 0 charges. They've had 0 accusations. That is the worst investigation ever. So that's an investigative body that can just go away.
I don't know. These investigations into Trump haven't really come up with anything either, but they keep doing it.
Well, I just saw that GM signed a deal with Australia for mining for materials for their batteries in their cars.
Yeah, I'd have to look, but Australia doesn't exactly have a good ecological record either. You guys know about the biggest wall in the world, right?
The biggest.
So, yeah. So this is actually kind of interesting. So they had a problem with the kangaroos ravaging the crops, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then they built a big ass wall to keep the kangaroos out. And all these trapped, and it had something to do with the dingoes too, I think. Anyway, they ended up stopping the kangaroos, but then they ended up like overran by the farms ended up overran by like wild dogs eating their sheep instead, because they couldn't get to the kangaroos that were stuck on the other side of the Great Wall. So I don't know what they call it. I don't know if they call it the Great Wall or the Great Fence, but yeah, they like built an artificial barrier and like completely screwed up their own ecosystem, trying to combat the dingoes. Dude, they literally declared war on kangaroos. They were like going out in like Apache helicopters, like gunning down kangaroos. The shit is hilarious. You should search that one. So I don't know about their mining regulations there, but I do know in Africa they have almost no control. If you look at any of the major mines in Africa, and then you start looking the groundwater in the areas around it, you're going to find that the groundwater is poisoned near every single mine that is paid for by Western governments or by China. And these are the mines that we're getting our materials from to make the solar panels, to make the wind farms, to make the electric cars. I mean, it's just insane. So, yeah, and that death toll is on them too. I mean, I'm sure you saw the burning of the electronics there. Like the left is all about recycling, but how do they recycle? They go dump the shit in Africa so they can kill themselves, like panning for little bits of metal. The wind turbines themselves, every bit of mining that they do there is like wasted, because the alloys that they use making those wind turbines none of it's recyclable. They can't remold them. They can't make them into a new one when they're out of service, when it tips over, when it catches on fire. That's just waste. So they're going to have to mine more. Then I love Brad, can you pull up a video of a lithium mining operation? Because every lithium mine that I like have ever seen, like this is hilarious because doing the mining are these monstrous mega machines that literally like burn through like 20 gallons of fuel per minute operating. And there's like hundreds of them out there, like digging this crap out of the ground. And that's not counting the trucks that are going to move the ore to a processing facility, the refined metals to a smeltery to make the alloys, from the smeltery to the electronics plant to be made into small components. And then like once they get to once they get through all that process, like every single one of these processes are fossil fuel driven. Like they're never going to be able to make an electric motor that can provide the power for heavy mining. Like it's just not going to happen.
It's going to have to be fossil fuels. Another thing is that, what is it? At least 80% of the electricity that's being made is from fossil fuels. What?
Yeah, well, but I don't think
that's a generous. That's a generous estimate of the electricity being produced by renewable sources.
Yeah, but the elitist aristocracy doesn't care if we get rid of 80% of the power because they just plain don't feel that.
I'm not going to do.
There we go.
I'm not going to.
Well, with all the environmental impact from lithium mining, you see that they're getting ready to open the first lithium mine in the U.S. in the last 50 years.
Yeah,
I think it's Nevada. Thacker Pass.
Yeah, we only have 1% of the global lithium, but we're using like 80% of it.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
so I mean, yeah, the whole thing is just like ridiculous. Like, and then like even the oil, we stopped drilling here. So where are we getting the oil? Okay, it's gonna be mined in countries that don't have the ecological controls that we have here in the U.S. Then it's gonna be transported by ship, truck, whatever. Like they're like literally having to transport all this oil that they extracted from the oil sands in Canada by truck into the U.S., which runs on diesel fuel, which pollutes worse than gasoline. Instead of
using the pipeline. Yeah, instead of using the pipeline, that's extremely safe.
Right.
Yeah, and like so, like all of that is like, I mean, air pollution, which kills people.
Of course, now we're going to Venezuela.
So like. Oh yeah, well, and the problem is there's nothing that they can actually do.
Yeah.
Better known for iron ore, this region is also the heart of Australia's rapidly expanding lithium industry. They opened here with the aim of becoming one of the biggest lithium mines in the world.
The Bill Gates mine will become a really.
You saw that sign, right? Blasting times.
For Western Australia.
Most of Australia's 10 hard rock lithium mines are in
Look at
Western
those trucks.
Australia. Driven
Wonder what's fueling them.
to feed an insatiable Texas.
Oh, they have to show a Tesla.
And that's being driven, of course, by the demand.
Of course they do.
In China, for example, the demand for electric vehicles is up 75% year to date to over 860,000 vehicles.
Australia isn't the only producer of lithium, but we do things differently here. Mining hard rock lithium, which is becoming a preferred source for battery production.
Look at that. Did you see that electric fucking front end loader?
An electric front loader? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss it. So
Rob, he was full of shit.
So check this out. Each Tesla battery has 5 kilograms of lithium in it. So 5 kilograms of lithium times how many millions of cars have they sold now? 10 million? So that's 50 million kilograms. So that's 100 million pounds.
And how often do you have to change that battery out?
Oh, like every 3 or 4 years, if you're lucky.
Well, they try and tell you it's longer than that, but yeah, that's if you're lucky. And how
If
much?
you're converting kilos to pounds, it's 11. It's 11. 2.2 times 5.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Dude, that's because
You
you're
don't
on
believe
videos. Go to click all. I told you it's 11.
Right. I was just
Like,
not because I thought you were.
So that's 11 pounds times 10 million electric cars. Oh, and did you guys see what happened with Rivian? Rivian just executed a recall on almost every car they've put on the road.
oh, no, because of what was it,
The
a latch
steering
or
problems.
something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
something wrong on the front tie rods. Okay, how do you get something wrong that's been a part of a car for 100 years? Tie rods are high tech, okay?
Yeah.
Well, apparently it is, Rob.
There is
Apparently
a
it
certain
is.
motor company that I work for that I'm not going to say on our show that has a problem making engines. So,
But company, if you want to sponsor us, we won't talk about your problem making engines, and we will talk about your company. No, I'm kidding.
well, no, see, look, GM signs landmark agreement with Australian company for critical minerals.
Yeah. Well, why aren't we mining any lithium here? Oh, yeah, because it's extremely toxic, and the left will never give a permit for it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're getting ready to open up one.
Yeah, where? Nevada?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the state that's okay with nuclear testing and nuclear waste sites. So, you know.
I know.
Well, and diseased prostitutes in like 3/4 of the state.
Well, this is something else that gets me is California has to be switched over to all electric vehicles by what, 2035? Is it?
Yeah, they can't power.
And Washington followed
1 million.
suit. Washington followed suit. Virginia, I think, or is it Virginia or Washington? There's a bunch of states that followed suit. Well, how are they going to power all this when they're already doing brownouts through wind turbines and solar? If they were going to build a bunch of nuclear plants, then I could maybe see it.
Yeah, they've got 1 million cars, 1 million electric cars in California right now, and they're supposedly going to be able to replace all 35 million cars in California. They can't power the 1 million. Oh, and then what are they going to do? Oregon and Washington is doing this too, so they're going to have to be able to power their cars. Guess where? During most peak hours, California gets 30% of their energy. Oh yeah, Oregon and Washington.
And
and most of the liberals I talk to, when I talk to them about the issue of power and pouring this, when they don't have the power to do it now, like, oh well, they'll take care of it, they'll power. Well, what about having a plan? When you come up with this, we need to switch to all electric vehicles. Well, this is how we're going to do it so we can power them, instead of just saying we need to do it by 2035 and then we'll figure out the rest later.
You know how long it takes to charge the new Hummer, the new fully electric Hummer with just a wall charger?
What, 120 volts or 240 volt?
120.
Oh, that could take days.
4 days.
Yeah, with the 120.
Yeah, with the fast charger, it still takes 2 days to get a full charge out of it.
So now, so back to the
death.
The original topic, since we're so far off the rails here.
Oh, so far.
Anyway, so have you guys noticed that now, the mainstream media is now starting to try and vilify anti-communist groups? So they had this bloody war between communists and non-communists in Indonesia. So now they're painting it between 500,000 and 1.5 million communists and alleged communists were slaughtered in dreadful ways by paramilitary groups in Indonesia. That's not what happened. You had people that wanted a free country or that wanted to practice their religion fighting against communists that were trying to do to them what they've done in every other country. I think it's pretty clear that if the communists were in control, that it's going to be an even higher death toll, because it is everywhere.
Well, I'm surprised they haven't tried to recategorize the the protests that are going on in Iran right now, since they're our best friend now.
Here's something that's a little interesting on that. 2,000 Chinese workers in Indonesia were killed for their communist ties. So like the CCP was sending in people to try and like flip over Indonesia to communism. Love that. So
so they're the party of anti-communists.
Yeah. So
how about the Congo kicking out the Chinese from one of their major mines because they were stealing resources?
Okay, so here's one. It's from hawaii.edu. It's somebody's doctoral thesis on murder and communism. So from 1917 on, the government murdered 119,400,000 people. Marxist governments about 95 million.
Hold that thought. We're less than a minute.
Okay. Okay, so an absolutely fascinating read if you guys get a chance, listeners, if you guys get a chance. Check out the paper by R.J. Rummel, Death by Government. It's kind of interesting. Some of the points in there are kind of weird. But he comes up with like something like 169 million by democide. So like check that out. That's kind of weird. But 61 million murdered by the Soviet Gulag state, 35 million murdered in the communist Chinese anthill, 20 million in the Nazi genocide state, 10 million murdered in the depraved nationalist regime, almost 6 million under Japan's authoritarian state, 2 million murdered by the Khmer Rouge, 1.8 million in Turkey's genocidal purges, 1.6 million from the Vietnam conflict and following purges, 1.58 million in the Polish ethnic cleansings, 1.5 million under the Pakistani cutthroat state, 1 million in Tito slaughterhouse, 1.6 million in North Korea, 1.4 million in Barbarossa, Mexico, and over 1 million in feudal Russia. So even before the communists took over, their leftist governments were killing their own people.
I didn't even think of the Mexico one. Jeez.
Yeah, so it's actually, he's got a lot of details and histories, and it was actually an academic paper, so there's great citation. So if you want to trace it back, it made a fascinating read. Some of his arguments on democide, I'm kind of, but it really was a good paper because it actually like clearly says what communist dictatorships do, but it tries to take a couple swipes at democracy as well. So, but yeah, I think true democracy, like just rule of the people, can be just as dangerous because mob mentality. You know what I mean? So I like the fact that we have a representative republic. I think it's the safest form of government if we can get back to actually having representatives.
It gives us the check and balances.
Yeah, but we need to start using those checks.
Yeah.
The checks exist for a reason. Anyway, so revelers, thank you guys for joining us. Again, make sure that you like, make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you share us. Where you can comment or send us a voice message, make sure to do that. I know through the podcast, you can actually do the voice messages. If you guys want to support our show and like help us advance along, you can support us financially directly. While we're waiting for our monetization to come through. But we are like, we're already at monetization on one platform. Other platforms we're trying to get up there. So make sure to support us if you can. We really appreciate it. But for sure, make sure to like, share, comment, help us out with the algorithms so more people see us. And again, the left ain't gonna like what we have to say, so they're not really gonna put us very high up in the search algorithms. So sharing us is really important, and rating us 5 stars and giving us likes and all of that. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Now, Brad, go ahead and make your closing thoughts.
My closing thoughts are the left is evil, Democrats are the left. Do not vote Democrat. Get out and vote November 8th. Vote Republican or Libertarian. Stay away from the blue.
And drag 5 voters with you.
Yeah, at least 5 voters with you. Send out 5 emails, make 5 phone calls, get people to vote. The only way that we're going to win is to vote. That's all I have to say. The left is evil. Stay away from it.
Ryan?
Well, the fact is that as the left moves further and further to the left, more towards socialism or toward communism, that they're moving into the category of mass murderers. We've seen, like Rob just read out, 61 million by the Soviet Gulag, and the list just goes down from there. And you can see where they're going in the future with the green energy and the environmentalism. They're cutting back on the things that have made this world what it is today, as far as we can have this massive population and still feed the population. But as they cut back on cattle, they cut back on fertilizers, as they cut back on tons of stuff, the mining, they're setting up for another mass extinction of the humans by killing them off, by not being able to provide, by starvation, and by killing the environment through their policies of trying to save it. It's just the left policies, as they go further left, is just moving into the territory of what kills people. So I won't say that the left is evil like my friends do here, but I think they come from a good spot as far as what they think they're trying to do. But what their ideas end up being is evil.
Yeah,
the road to hell.
Yeah, thank you, Brian.
Good intentions.
Yeah, I don't think it's good intentions. I think everything, single thing that the Democrats do, they advertise it with good intentions, but the intention is to take away your control, or take away your autonomy, to take away your rights, to take away your ability to lead your life, to deprive you of the rights that God gave you as a person. So the way all of this is supposed to work is, through the Lockean bargain, which is, if there were no other people around, I've got a right to life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Okay, we all join together and we agree to form a government to protect us from other people infringing upon our rights. And we do give up a little bit of control to the government to protect us from other people, other groups, sometimes corporations, sometimes other governments. Okay, but it's supposed to be a little bit of the rights, and we control that government. Our control of our government is slipping away. And the reason why is because we have so many people that think they can't do anything, that they don't vote. And then like half the people that do vote, they don't even bother looking into the candidates, looking into what these people actually stand for. That's why I've said, like, I'm a libertarian. There are some Democrats that I actually support. So I'm not saying that Democrats are evil. I'm saying leftists are evil. Don't believe me? They're trying to sterilize you. If you do get pregnant, they want to kill your kids. They don't want you to be able to drive. They want to be able to starve you out in your house. They want to be able to lock you in. They want to keep you pumped up on drugs. They want you high instead of paying attention to what they're doing. Like, it's all evil. And the way it always ends up, the ultimate way that it ends up happening is the government comes for the people that oppose them. Once they get to that tipping point in the power, they do it. Why do you think under the Obama administration, while he's race baiting to distract everybody, they built camps capable of holding up to 35 million people? What do you think those camps are for? They are so they can start their purges of their conservatives, the ones that will never accept the indoctrination. We're just getting started. The death tolls that you're seeing in Democrat cities, it's just the start of what they're doing, and they're doing it intentionally. Yes, the left is evil, but just because you have a D on your registration does not mean you're a leftist. Start reading, start watching more content, start learning what the left actually wants, because the left is evil and they're trying to kill you.
And you'll notice that the left was created by the Democrats. The Democrats rarely vote against anything that the left is pushing.
Yeah, well, I mean, the left wasn't created by the left wasn't created by the Democrats. The Democrats were created by the left.
Okay, so then how is the left what the Democrats not?
Well,
people created the Democrats, but they're not evil.
No, but because
come on.
The average Democrat voter doesn't understand what the leftist ideology is. That's
But the
problem.
representatives of the left, the people of the Democrat Party do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Those
Democrats
holding the
are
levels
evil.
of power. Yeah, and they are evil. The ones in control of the levels of power with the D next to their name. If you see a candidate on the ballot and they have a D next to their name, just equate that D equals devil because those people are evil.
But that doesn't mean the people that vote Democrat are evil. Is what you're
No, I'm saying the candids with the D next to their name. The D is for devil. Anybody who wants power, anybody who wants power and supports leftist policies are the devil. Anyway, thank you, revelers, for joining us. We're so happy to have you guys.
I just want to say again, comment, please. We're trying to get going. I mean, we're all brand new at this, and we'd love to hear your comments on where we can improve what we're doing wrong. So it's so important. That's why I wanted to say it again. Please comment so we can read it and see what's going on.
And if you're a Democrat, if you're a liberal, a libertarian, if you're a socialist, if you're a communist, come on the show. If you're afraid of being like with three of us, I'll do a show with you one-on-one. I know Brad's willing to. I'm sure Brian would be willing to. I mean, I know you need a safe space if you're on the left, but go ahead and join us. We'd be happy to hear an opposing point of view so we can demolish it. Anyways, you guys have a great night. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Thank you.